Hello, my name is Carl Surrey and this is a video tutorial for the Facebook group called Fans of Serif Software, and this tutorial is for PhotoPlus. Now, this image that you can see on screen is one that was made by the group members called John Harris, and he used FilterForge and one of the FilterForge filters to make up this image using pictures of me, unfortunately, for all you watching. But not everybody has FilterForge, and even though I do have FilterForge, this particular filter, you need version 5 of FilterForge, and I have only the freer version, which was version 4. Now, if you want to check out FilterForge, you can go to the website, which is just filterforge.com. And as you can see, version 5 is the current version at the time of this recording, and version 6 is now on beta testing. But like I said, I only have version 4 because it was given away for free. But for those who don't know much about FilterForge, it is a program that it is a standalone program, or it can be inserted into PhotoPlus as a plugin, and it will add extra filters and effects, and it is well worth checking out. There are hundreds if not thousands of different filters that you can check out, so I would advise you having a look at that, even if you can try and find the earlier version 4 that was for free, and check it out and give it a go. But if you can't use FilterForge, you can make your own picture cubes, and this is what this tutorial is about. So first of all, you need to have a cube. So again, we'll go back to the internet, and if you go to Google image search and put in something like picture cube or 3D picture cube, as you can see, there are loads and loads of different cubes that you can pick from. Now, the one I selected was this one here, because one, it's a decent size. I hope you can see this, but when I put the cursor over it, it comes up that it's 768 by 720, and it's from a company called Pixabay.com. Now, I picked this one because Pixabay.com are all royalty-free images. So, one, it was a good size, and two, it was royalty-free. So this is the one I've gone for. The only slight problem with this one is that the top square of this is quite shallow, or there's not much of it showing, unlike, say, this one next to it. So with this particular one, you could get to see all three images quite well, but this one you can't as much. So you have to be more careful about what you put on the top part of the box. But as you're going to be covering up this box, theoretically you could use any of these images that you like, because it won't be seen anyway. But that said, I'm sticking with the Pixabay version, and also I like this one because it's a PNG image, so it has no background to it, so the background I'm going to put it on, it will stand out better without me having to cut it out and things like that. So let me go back to PhotoPlus, and there we have the image that I was talking about, and as you can see, there is no background, it's all transparent, so it will show up better on the background I'm going to use. And the background I am going to use is this bokeh effect, and it is a nice, much bigger than the box that I'm going to put into it. You don't have to put a background, obviously, but I'm doing this just to make it, I think, make it look better. So what I'm going to do first is to select all of this image of the cube, and then come and edit, copy, and then go to my background, and then go up to edit, paste as a new layer. As you can see, it's quite small, but I'm going to increase the size of this by coming to the Deform tool, which will put the bounding box around the outside with the handles on the corners and edges. And I'm going to hold down the Shift key, come to one of the corners, and holding down the Shift key will keep it in proportion and not stretch it into weird shapes. That may be a tad too big, I'll just come back down slightly. Just a little bit more maybe. There we go. And then I will just go to the Move tool, and then I will move it a bit more central. Yeah, that will do. So now we need the images to go on to these three sides. Now again, I have some already selected here. So again, once you've got your image, and it also does help to a certain extent if the image is reasonably square to start off with, because you're going to be deforming this, and so the nearer it is to a square, I personally think will make it easier to do. So again, select all, edit, and copy, go back to your image with the square and the cube and the background, and then again it's just a case of paste as a new layer. As you can see from the layers display area, we now have the background, the cube, and then this image I've just put on. So we now again want to come to the Deform tool, and basically you just want to put each corner on each corner of this side of the cube. Now if you hold down the Control key before you start, come up to one of the corners, it will move just that corner. Just put it roughly in the right place for now. Again, I'm only going to do this roughly because I'm going to have to zoom in to get a better position in a minute, but it's easier to do it fairly roughly and then zoom in. Right, so now I've got that roughly, and I'm going to zoom right in so I can see the corner. Again, hold down the Control key and then just put that right on the joining point of the two corners. And it probably wouldn't hurt just to go slight, especially on the outside edges, just to go slightly outside them, just to hide any of the cube that might end up showing. Again, you've got to remember that each time to hold down the Control key, just so you're only moving the corner that you want to move. You can always tell once if you are holding it down, because the cursor will turn to this little grey arrow. Because if I let go of the Control key now, it will just go to these little black arrows. So if I hold down the Control key, the little grey arrow turns up, and then let go, zoom out, come off of the Deform tool, and as you can see we have our first image already in place. So now we want our next image. Now this one, as you can see, is not so square, it's more landscape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do a quick selection to make it a more square image, and then I'm going to copy that selection I've just made, come back to this image here, and then paste as a new layer. So again, as you can see, I've now got the 4 layers. Come to the Deform tool, hold down the Control key, and again roughly put the four corners where I want them. And then once you're there roughly, zoom in and just fine tune your positioning. It's you can do this fairly quickly. It's just a little bit fiddly, just especially when you can't see where you're aiming for. It's sometimes better to come away from where you're aiming for by quite a bit, and then once you know where it is, it's easier to find it and line it up. There we go. I think if I zoom out now, come off of the Deform tool. So there you can see, I mean obviously the choice of pictures that you use is sort of fairly crucial, because you want to be able to still work out what it is when it's at a slight angle, which I'm hoping that that one does. Now, when I first did a test of this, I put a picture of a helicopter on the top part, and it worked okay to a certain extent, but I wasn't 100% certain whether people who didn't know it was a helicopter could work it out as easily as I could, because I knew what it was. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put a layer with text on it, and it's just the name of where I live. So I'm going to select all, edit, copy, come back to the main image and then edit, paste as a new layer. Then it's just a case of, like before, using the Deform tool, holding down the Control key and moving the corners to roughly where they need to be. And then zooming in. And then just joining up. Let's zoom in a little bit more there, I think. Let's go over to the other corner. Right. Again, I'm just going to go slightly wider than I need to here. This is slightly where the difficulty of using such a dark or colourful cube is that it's harder to hide it. Let's see whether I can just nudge it out slightly. It'll make that a bit better. Right. Let's get this corner one down to there. And then this final corner. Right, zoom out. Come off of the Deform tool. And there you have the finished cube. It's not ideal and perfect. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're being hypercritical, there are probably minor gaps where the cube underneath might be just visible, which, you know, if you were going to print this out, maybe would be more of a problem. But you could, if you wanted to, you could use the line tool, for example, and just put a black line down each edge, so it ended up looking a bit more like this one here, like the filter falls thing. You could sort of draw lines around it to just clean up the edges, but personally I think that's more than adequate and okay. You don't really need to do too much else, and obviously you could use a different background, but I think that is okay. So that is the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned something, if it's only just using how to use a deform tool, which is basically all we've used is copy and paste and the deform tool. Nothing too difficult, and I think the end result is quite good. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.